First, I want to thank everyone here tonight for helping all of us celebrate in this induction. I'd like to thank Dr. Colombier, the nominating committee, and Longwood University for this honor. I am overwhelmed. As Ruth mentioned, Dr. Bud, she mentioned my parents, and they were my best supporters. My mom was my biggest fan. She would have loved nothing more to have been here for something like this.
She is.
Yes, she is. Through the years, as Dr. Bud said, my parents played host to many of my gymnastics friends, coaches, even other athletes that were at Longwood. In their home, they were at meets, constantly cheering, just being there for anybody that needed anything. And they supported Longwood gymnastics. I remember in French gymnasium, for those of you who didn't know French gymnasium, the gym was down on this floor and there was a balcony over the top. And Dr. Johnson, who I believe is the athletic director, used to come and sit with them a lot of times. And in fact, I think there was some party going on somewhere, and one time some water got thrown on top of all three of them when they were sitting there one night. And she was like so apologetic. And my parents were just so into it that they're like, you know, it happens, they're kids. And I think they even hunted the student down and made them apologize. But they got caught up in it as much as I did. I loved being a Longwood athlete. I loved being a Longwood student. I loved my 4 years at this campus. But there were some trials. We had to fight for our gymnastics space. I had lots of friends on the basketball teams, but we still had our little fights with, okay, who gets gym time tonight? Who gets it this night? Who gets it on Saturdays? Ruth covered so much of it, I'm not sure where to go from here. But on Saturdays, we taught 3 hours, roughly, taught gymnastics in the community. And I love nothing more than inspiring younger children to do gymnastics, to just be able to express themselves athletically with the sport. Sheila and Cheryl were in our very first class that we had here. Just recently, we rekindled, found each other on Facebook. And actually, Cheryl was the one who friended me first. And we've had the emails going left and right since, and it's been awesome. And this award, I think, has opened up those opportunities to rekindle with people as well, and I'm thankful for that. I'd like to thank my husband, Mike. You can stand. And my daughter, Lexi. For accompanying me tonight. Also, friends, Kristen and Tom, they actually have a daughter who graduated from Longwood and a goddaughter that's here now. And they've been friends with my husband for 30 years. And it just shows how Longwood, as small as it is, you still find people that, through relations, that it's a lot bigger than we realize. And I'm very pleased and honored that they are here tonight with us. I'd like to mention that my son, Andrew, could not be here. He is a swimmer, and he had a swim meet. He's looking at colleges this year, so he couldn't join us because that swim meet's really important right now. I'd like to thank my son, Andrew, and my husband, and Dr. Bud, because I know that they had actually nominated me years ago for this award. And I'm honored that they did that, and I appreciate it, especially Dr. Bud. Dr. Bud, I mention her with the utmost gratitude and appreciation. Thank you for presenting me tonight, for all you did as my gymnastic coach, my teacher, and my mentor. When you say that you have a set of parents, you do have, we're only like 7 years apart, I think, but she was like a mom to me here. If I had a doctor's appointment to go to, whether it was local or in Richmond or University of Virginia, that's who took me. And she did it for the other gymnasts as well. She had us spend the night in her home when we couldn't be on campus if we came back to try and train early. Many times. Just going to camp and working with her. We developed a friendship that I'm glad is here now today. Besides being my coach, I also had Dr. Bud for health class. And this was freshman year, and it was probably the first that I realized that she has a sense of humor. She tells us we're about to start the touchy subject, sex, and she said, I want you to bring brown paper bags to class. So we bring these brown paper bags to class, and we draw our faces on them. Now put them over your heads, and then we got into the nitty-gritty. I enjoyed her class, and the other students did. Recently, I was boring my husband as I looked through some old scrapbooks. I found out everybody else has been looking too. And I came across a poem that Coach Bud had given me before a big meet. This isn't the one I think you're expecting. She actually is very talented with writing poetry, and I don't know if she wrote this one, but this one I want to share with you. She gave this to me before, I can't remember which competition, but something that was significant. And it's what gymnastics and competition is to me. The secret of a champion is being confident but not cocky, getting psyched up, not out, concentrating on your routines, not on the other teams, staying calm no matter what. But most of all, the secret of a champion is loving every minute of the meet and sharing that love with judges and spectators. She knew me well. She knew how to inspire me to do what I loved about gymnastics. I don't know if any of you remember, some of you, the '72 Olympics when Olga Korbut came on the scene. When I saw Olga Korbut, I turned around to my parents and I went, that's what I want to do. That tiny little Russian gymnast turned me onto the sport of gymnastics, and I never looked back at anything else. And Dr. Bud, then Coach Ruth Bud, never let me forget that. She always made sure and reminded me, you know how to turn a crowd on, remember to go out there and do that. And that's what I've always tried to do. I want to thank you all so much for this honor. There were many great gymnasts who walked the halls and colonnades of this campus, though. My teammates of the late 70s and early 80s pushed me to be the best I could be. As together we did break endless records, not only as individuals, but also as a team. Many gymnasts came after us to shatter those records. As Coach Bud continued to cultivate and create a strong gymnastics program at this school. I am honored to be the first gymnast to be inducted into Longwood's Athletes Hall of Fame, and I hope that other Longwood gymnasts will be inducted in the future. They deserve it as well as Coach Bud. Again, thank you for this honor. I sincerely hope that it will put the history of Longwood gymnastics back in the record books and hopefully back in the trophy cases.